Yɛda Yankopɔn asese na dom ne na humbobro nti nnenso yɛhyɛ mu biewo ɛwɔ enrich your family dwumadi a yɛdi no ɛwɔ awotwe bia yi eso. Enrich your family ɛyɛ dwumadi a yɛde kyerɛkyerɛ abusua mu nsɛm yɛdi nkɔmmɔ fa aware mu nsɛm ho matete ho nneɛma ahodoɔ a ɛboa abusua ɛwɔ yɛn kɔsoɔ ne yɛn puntuo nti bre bia yɛba de sua yi so no yɛkyɛ nneɛma ahodoɔ a ɛboa abusua ma ɔmo kɔnkan na yɛtaa de presenters ahodoɔ a nyame aboa wɔ nimdeɛ ahodoɔ mu na nnɛ no yɛnua ne no bedi nkɔmmɔ no ɛyɛ Dr. Boampong Akese saa doctor yi ɔyɛ kunini a kyerɛ sɛ yɛbɛka sɛ ɔwɔ PhD in health services na yɛde nyame ase sɛ nnɛ ɔde no ama yɛn na yɛbɛsua nneɛma ahodoɔ bi a titire kɔso wɔ fie the topic name de pa or say domestic violence. Now doctor yɛmɔ akɔ aba said me kan you know enrich your family program yi so yɛdi nkɔmmɔ fa mateteɛ kwane a awarefoɔ fa so di nkɔmmɔ ebra yɛ building your emotional attachment na yɛka violence yi bi ho asɛm ti na yɛne agye pa sɛ nyame nam so na wobɛkyerɛkyerɛ na yɛdi nkɔmmɔ bi akyerɛ hɔ na wo ka wadwuma mu nsɛm akyerɛ nti mɛbɔ mpaeɛ wi a afei mɛsan abusa wo bio ɛho a yɛde wase sɛ wadom ne wodɔ nti nnɛ wode yɛn ahyia mu no ama yɛ akɔnya sɛ yie yɛdwene domestic violence nokure ni obo nipa no wamfa biribi sɛ yanka yɛ ho bonsam akɔfa bɛka nipa asetena ho ti ama yɛdi yɛnya ɛsɛ abusua bebree ɛnɛ wonam wakɔ aso bɛkyerɛkyerɛ ɛsɛ ɔsɛ ma yakoma agye asɛm ma yɛ ɔpɛ de wasɛm yɛ adwuma ne wasiesie bia no ya no fonfom ne awrefrefri ne so na ne awo ma yɛ ne no so fa dom yɛn wo Jesus Christ din mu amen nti doctor how can say we are PhD in human service
health services
health services I say my content am do and now chim say health services no dan pa na moye
nti baby ameme ye adwuma no de department of developmental services no yen adwumadi a yedine say nipa no omowo intellectual disabilities no yen department na hwe omoso nti yen yemu bia yedwuma group homes no nim say what DDS
yes
na me yedwuma nti so yedwuma group home whether 7 Hills Ventures and I say any of the group homes agencies no more group homes na aban adwuma na hwe omoso na ho na me ye adwuma nti no behavioral health field
okay
you know they're not making say in pain no my biggest worry is the Ghanaian community.
Yes,
there have been so many instances sometimes I could remember and case managers in the me hoka say among some Ghanaian parent to be they trying to convince them to kind seek for services and as a help but almost here or more bananyare or you're okay the me say me say the support is there and it's for everybody. Say one out and be seeking for help. A ban who saw share and measure for fast one emerald.
Yeah,
na yen Ghana afford to true and then here make say. I na see the ferry be at bata home. Suddenly we kurum Ghana and na you did the assignment, but Yame had my BP idea. System no horse be boy. Into me best says any kind of challenges, whether mental issues, and I say, or background as we will be a common. One try say you seek help, and one or a ban is willing to help. They don't discriminate.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody. Into no. Encourage some campus the Ghanaian community.
That's a doctor. Just say, may share with department, say Department of Developmental Services. Naturally, say, most of developmental really no one more challenges kakra. But ya na who say ya adwene mu no yesusu say obi a osori otimi kwa adwuma obi a bi kra ware wa wo mma no onka saafo no in fact ye krom kra de mental health yes wa bodam
Yeah.
ya can insanity oh ye confuse insanity with mental health na ebi anka ansa ne be topic no so no gweta ho kakra bi kire ntinso ne bantam kakra bi kire
Enti say yeah, cause mental health. Anytime I menya akunya na me present we I'm kind of a little bit concerned about ichi kasa. If you say we don't have a lot of vocabularies to explain and I distinguish between bro for kasa. Today be adwum how be as bodam ni and I say na adwen ate.
Yeah.
And you know sometimes it's a little bit difficult to kind of explain in terms of what the bro for the battery, but see a mental illness and as intellectual disability, a difference is the intellectual disability near the intellectual disability near the but mental illness near fan ya we over time maybe a brabomun and same be an answer some are drugs related. Then you begin to develop some form of mental illness. But the intellectual disability and there's no cure for it for intellectual disability. But there are programs in place that it can shape the person to be kind of a little bit independent within the society.
Okay, that's a power. Doctor, Emerson Nadia me yanum hon kan bebre ebre so ya nisa. Me yo show so be san baby. Na we dey ya foul field yankasa no. Na ye do so no and now topic na things are related. I want say ebe dan na obi ene ne dofo obi odo no no aware no na omo ti ho kama na afi osore a na odi natem. Na efie no kan sma ya kire no ode na no twa no sa fe bedru ba bi no na obro no to abo to niema we bo we no ya to ama we mennom ho kwan enti meda na akire ama sele me kan no atiefo ai ba ye no dia odi anim de no Dr. Boampong Akese or PhD in health services na neno de oni e beka ho asem domestic violence. Doctor, meje chirama. Dine fire.
Pastor Medasepa, Yami Shra was say, Mama Quenya na weja or platform so mammy, some so many and for emeche sem kakra. Mestre say, so bit me mamma quine and come share me slide see kakra. I can share this slide. Okay. All right. Inti ena adisua ade ampe say isua ho ade no. Sania Pastor Moa di kan chire mu no. You become be afa domestic violence. Na impempi na se ka domestic violence a yehu how a branty or that screen so akoma twede said your odekobo obi no. Impempi the moment ne beka domestic violence na ya adwen kosi say we be obi or ne dofo bi hye no mo kunkwa. But domestic violence, is far more than that. It involves other kind of aspects and so. And in pain, the moment we hear about domestic violence, sometimes we think say always a mema and the abusers and I said the perpetrators. Always the women are victims. But no clear women say it's not always. Sometimes the men are also victims. Now, a man the abusers. Na ye kase domestic violence bro for kasem no sena omo echirechim sa quotation we quotation pese di to ho for abra ye besua ya ade ye be hunu wo Colossians for homa etremiensa ti wotwe ekosi enkro no ana twi no eye me de ye penti no ye betumi atro sa quotation ato na yakenkan edi etu ye hofo. Now, if I say domestic violence, right? The brofund say, or say it's a pattern of cohesive tactics that can include physical, psychological, sexual, economic, and emotional abuse perpetrated by one person against an intimate partner. with the goal of establishing and maintaining power and control. Into some tactics via aya na the perpetrators no omu use enam so peso onya tumi bi ewo ne ho kan use ntino odi omo adapt said the be ya ombetumi a control ntino nze me bone ma me enum so physical, psychological, sexual, economic, and emotional abuse. Into the physical aspect no eno na ya na so trobo ewo mu no. Into the physical aspect is just one of niema num na me bobo so no. Na ye ko yenim ne behu de ebia eye. Into the pattern of abusive behavior in any intimate relationship that is used by one person to control to have control over the other no and no domestic violence in na yet domestic violence domestic violence in shorter form. That is the explanation. Na physical abuse, and the physical abuse often begins with less violent assault such as pushing. No say obi wo abusive relationship na say ne ho kani no yet the abuser no say or status or abuse no physically in pimpi no mo say na opimpi akra na afidie over time no na ebro den ediso na say ka say abuse kra ade bia moroso na ye abuse. It is the physical abuse in just why ye or starting akra opian afidie or the ebro abiwie echiri nti enhwe nema bia aye you bet to me are categorizing no under the physical abuse. Be a pushing, restraining, shaking, slapping, okay, cow, punching, kicking, throwing objects, and also using weapons. This winning falls under the physical abuse. Now, emotional abuse. The emotional abuse is the tactic of control that consists of a wide variety of verbal attacks and humiliations. Indeed, perpetrators use this to make their partners feel scared and worthless. Indeed, yɛmfa awarefoɔ a yɛmfa nse bia baako manim ɛkɔsoro ɛkyɛn baako mpɛn pii no sɛ the victim no the abuser no mpɛn pii no when they tend to use this emotional abuse to kind of have control over ɔmo kani na mpɛn pii ɔbɛka sɛ na akora no kyɛ sɛ ne so wɔmfa so kyɛ sɛ odi mu kyɛn sɛ nyɛ wo kora nka nyɛ obi a yɛmfa no yɛn ana bi a yɛte nkran a ebi enam yɛho kani nso ɛna ebehu kurokasiem nka na sa na yɛtie kura bi ase a ɛnam yɛho kani nso na ebi ebehu kurokasiem odumi ka sɛ ɛnyɛ no ɛnyɛ ɔno anka ebi aka akora amforo da na asɛ nkran kora mbada anaasɛ bi kurom ha kora so ɔna faale de wo ba ya sometimes baka sɛ ebi ɛnyɛ ɔno kora anka wa abrochiri kora anka maybe ɛyɛ adeɛ a many of the times no ayana people use that against their spouse. If you be a did term bu a nipem a honor back a cat in some who here denied actually so or more feelings just one case who be so knew a brabo more who knew be sometimes they make jokes about the victims. Does a baby they will kind of criticize you, they will blame you just a whole lot of emotional abuse. Ade obeka ama wedi areho ewum kwan that most of times or ebia omo but on the say obetwa wano so de bi obemo ayeden edi areho. That is the emotional abuse. And a sexual abuse. The sexual abuse is one of the least discussed but most common forms of domestic violence. Now these tactics this kind of approach. Sometimes they think say be or no can't seem be a in the way to control the man. They feel say kind of withholding sex as a punishment. They kind of will get you to do whatever that they want you to say at the crumpus or this is one of the tactics and man or more a penny. But sometimes a man being so man being so it may be almost so a kame or more a year. Now, these are some of the examples of sexual abuse. They make fun of the partner. They make jokes about the sizes. They make jokes about ebia on no inhye die ade bia ebia nkeye kukuwa masem no ebia the two they make jokes about sa ade no. Now sometimes some of the victims they force their some of the abusers they force their victims to kind of have sex with other people. Ebu okra onwa to me echino etonomona and kanasa and also in front of nema. Some of the abusers, now that is what they do. And social abuse. So the social abuse is used to isolate the victim from others in the community. And the abusers knows that the fewer people the victim kind of connect with, the more control and the victim also. If you said the more you get yourself involved in the community, when him said you will get more support. Into what they do is that they try to isolate you from your friends. Sometimes they even prevent you from going to church. So that any kind of support. And the isolating practice become more overtly abusive over time. At first, in PNP, they will tell you, so just you need to have that kind of time spent together. Just a new beer, any kita on one if you say or bemo who say beer or do, but not antisa. They insist say you always spend time together and kind of discourage the victim from seeing other friends and family. In PNP, no monitor victim the phone just to make sure say you don't talk to anyone apart from sometimes they will humiliate you in public. Anything they would you can't connect with other people. Most of the time, that is the tactics that the abusers use when they want to kind of socially abuse you. And a financial abuse. In PNP, the financial abuse is that the abuser wants to take control over all the financial decisions across with you. You only depend on him. Just the BB out here be a true BB answer. To the point that sometimes we work around man the year I think the crew my dear and no bagana dear. We go on my man the year in Nefi. In this zone here BB neho and now over babysa. Until I'm so dining, just that you kind of struggle in terms of sikasam and you cannot be self-dependent. If it's a who dependent or dino or no pet enna or heading or co no even Chrome they make you to kind of save together, especially yampan say more winning kratan among krata someone shadan kuyin and into maybe be bank account and abia do being kratan a year man. Most of the time they kind of go through this kind of situation way. If we say in krata saving kuyin nisikasem efa obi account then kind of say in PNP I am not they kind of also go through the financial abuse. The some of the causes and risk factors that sometimes they lead to sad domestic violence. The kind of lack of harmony and understanding between partners. Ineffective communication can lead to confusion and disagreement and provocation. Then say in tiasie and I say yen commodie with you no say in sipia. Na se de bia mentim wasi wo mu a in PNP ayana at the domestic balance. And the expert will tell you say you have to communicate and make sure say every bia there is understanding any asumbi ewo if and na the a different family background. Then you say people who kind of grew up and ewo if ne or witnesses say be an mommy abuse the papa and answer the papa abuse the mommy all the time. They tend to grow say normal because that is environment to nyini into a fan say just normal to no so benyini no sa no be into children who grew up in an environment where parents handle stress and disappointment with anger and aggression are at higher risk to exhibit the same behavior as witnessed. The empathy in test and say mofra away film and mofra mu nyini they learn most of the things by observing what parents are doing. Nti awofo yes stress mu fear you have to be kind of mindful, especially as some mawa around that. Be mindful how you interact money mo edi inkomo kwan mudi masetenam wo fie no ese se moye ahwe efi se aya na mmofra no ehwe mo a na ebenyini daachi abaye papa no ene maame no nti no ese se yeye ahwe the dihobium financial problems obi anadwuma sei anase bia ne sikasem nkoyi most of the time no aya na omoye very aggressive nti no asema nya bufu kura na ne buofu nam se ne sikasem nkoyi nti no most of the time the abusers no ebia na ne sikasem bi nhye da nkoyi nti no sometimes a man as a bit to that kind of subano or dance suban edi it be nso ye extreme jealousy one matter say baby odo ne ho kan ne boro so to the point that just on per se obehun so ne obi akura gina hokura edin komo intimpempi no the domestic violence no extreme jealousy sometimes contributes to the domestic violence ebi nso ye adwemu haw obu no mana o adwemu haw kakra into no so no to the bia etumi mano be a little bit violent towards hokani na aha na ehia mi yie pa nti na bia ha no the best every kakra I say why victims choose not to seek for help obu no ma or relationship mo no answer relationship your or teaming and as our real teaming or your victim he or she is being abused but for some reason intino for some reason they choose not to seek help for some reason ombo bia mane e no te ho emi say ye nyina yete enche pi na one gospel musician bi I think it's Nigerian no nukunu ebu nukunu no obu nukunu wie na fe na omo an omo ben omo no eba out abeka the kind of aware nasa unuaba no atim how violent and how abusive ana nukunu ye kopim zo owu wie no afi no mabeka bombeka ba no mabeka no it wasn't going to change anything if the nipa no na yabu nekunu wi the mesre ye nyina say if you know say you are in any form of relationship more you are being abused, you are a victim. Yes, sir. Sir, you seek help. I saw him penning for, I saw one share, I saw for and them. Yes, sir. You have to seek help. Now, pimping and now some more for our real muntino. Most people refuse to seek help. If you said they don't want the situation, said there will be like a break in the marriage, it will cause like a broken home. The consequences and also the effects of broken home. Sometimes, most people and I say most victims, they stay in the marriage because of a humanity. They sacrifice for homoma. The next one is the belief in culture, family, and religion, and religious values that encourage the maintenance of family unit at all cost. We have to make sure that we are keeping our home like we are having a happy home. And nam sa gidi na yafa atu yan husu ntino. Yet bomodin say ye betena ho se de be ya ye betumi ama ya ware no. Ejina. Obu anoma nas mo kan so me fie de obi enja ware da. Se me kugya ware pe ebia me na medikan a meja ware Now say you seek help, most of the time not. We am talking in terms of Ghanaians or Africans. Say the victim no ba out and I na worry. Seeking help doesn't mean say worry. Be na a futu be na sa interchange be one of my bit media mamu the bear bema our no ejina. But in Pimpi, many people are scared of divorce. Internet they tend not to even come out. The mainstream in say who been here say obeba and now you seek help. If you say a whole lot of effects in Sunsanso, if you refuse to seek help. A womb say yeah, Christopher, we have to make sure say ma worry egina. But it doesn't mean say because of that in no, and I said that culture, and I said that that stigma, remember that yen akwanhwefo you won't know you because of an interview say you are refusing to seek help. We have to be very careful. That is one of the reasons many people refuse not to seek help. The idea ends illness and dependence on the perpetrator for healthcare. To be on money be a oyare. Neni da so nyina ne partner no. If it's oja no hokwa it's only obi obeso ni mu. Enti no ene obetena ho amo abusing sa so the beya ono so obeding obetumi ahwe no. Some people tend to stay because they only depend on that person for healthcare. Obi so ono mo a aya na the abuser no ehye boss over time obesesa. That continual hope and belief in the perpetrator's promises to change and to stop being violent, if be an nipa no ware na kura sani pastor mo ya sha so kan adofo a mo sha ase mododo mo ho afi de ba ne sen. And sometimes you tend to think say nipa na nya sa not here. Ntizanya sa not here na wa be say de nie akunya ho say osesa. And pempi no the perpetrators no they know what they are doing. The abusers no munim de omo ye. Wa no nim de oye ntino. Sure boss o obesesa onye biem enso na de bia na eden or twaso. Ntina na most of the time the victim no a source I promise him say oh the abuser is going to stop over time or obey jai sa and entity no or the man that kind of abusive treatment now or the man no over time no obey jai in pimpi no they tend to stay with the hope say nipa no besesa isuban. Insufficient funding and resources. And victims who are financially dependent on abusers have fewer resources to escape. Definitely. Usuru say ABS could be one no crack or bubia mania. Just say and one won't few be pimping why the na otem. That is one of the reasons why Ayana many people refuse not to seek help. Loss of social support and afraid of being ridiculed or ignored. Ayana in pain PM fan a yasredim. Nipa ebia udimu ewa yasafu nimu. Ebi o yasori penny, ebi o yasofo, ebi o di eku bi enim. O fear or a monster. But the moment no be piedru nipa mu no. Chese osoro abofo bi ansen no. Enti mpempi no na we the victim no even say oh ba out kura abeka say na asumasi subantia just you're not going to get that support from the society. And now I'm say the way an nipa no portray ne ho so pie abonten a enti no mpempi no kura no ana wonso ne hu ashoma say ade kura me kokan kura san na manfo ebesom if is on nipa yi obi a bi odi mu wani munyam yebu no oko kan kura no amanfo betwetwew nti nam sɛ nti no obon sɛ why din hu na where then what because you are kind of scared say you're not going to get that support no from the society and also the community to the point say ebu na awofo ni bi kura no ne ba no kura ba abeka chense na ne kun fam kura no o se yedin na tena ho san so sanema na san tena waware ho sa because of support ni hu ntino say entity e boni bi ade fam nipa no fam bia no pimpin wo se waye din na oguso ate ho me pause ha na ma bisa so bi wo asembisa bi anase contribution bi opeso de ma na yento aso emi se ye bre na ya aso nya san so de ya ye betumi ato aso da foforo adusua we adusua wakakra intino
oh okay
amanfo wo questions anase omo wo contributions bi omo se omo de ba no se bi ye betumi ama bre so na omo de abanya sa de ye betumi ato aso
oh okay any Dr. Mabaso ya na ma blocko ya yire wo muntu obi antimi nkasa nti se bi si ha de a mimmie kwan no se da maka nka mani baje ho sa doctor bi emfansi ha ho
okay
maka se me ye sure se nkrofo me mani ge ho mo won se bisa na ye makwan na wo mo obi amfa na sem a wo pese obusa no mra
okay
if say saasma ye kan me no si ye kra na desmo ama ne nsase no nti desmo afi me makwan obetimi abusa wasema na wo de mo ano aba if say saasma ye kan sei no ekoso da ewo musuam nti desmo koso why
Doctor Edasi, so function Edasi, no Juma Power. My question I will be come out of
okay
yeah, the entire can also according to Doctor a domestic abuse in here, you know. Mushra warrior so also for better for worse. Doctor and Sonche I mean say you don't have to stay in that place yeah abuse you saro. And on what you can say because Obaka say you quite sorry if you are for better for worse. It's worse number. Why are you running away? You have to face it. And on be our baby good this time. No, yeah, no, it be no more tears but there were Timono and the name said that who she no.
okay
You can say
okay
that's
I think say a very good question pa for better for worse meaning also busa ma me na doctor on present and ma on first
okay emi say emre bi minya akonya yes adesua ma Queens na pastor Chumesi wo so na ni mu ayo de ba en na small kind no na making o say asori no nkyerɛkyerɛ bi en wo say ɛkyerɛ sɛ tenase ne yamu nkum ɛna asori no nso mbu aware but they can grant separation say ke we ntina na asumdue ba then they come back together me masama meka no nyina enye sɛ yenja ware and I discourage that but the main point I'm say in free hand say that stigma na we attach it and I'm say we're going through a lot but we don't want to come out to seek help because I don't know and started preocupe and a kese starting thinkete internet start ye no ano ese se wo sha se ekope ho anu aduru e ma no nkoye kese anso na be fresh of say so for de mikumni asa ye wie no a ye hu hwie nyi na fi na na beto asoro mpanimfo ni en na me de ye nua ba no a ni kunu bu no kun no Nigeria no ye mfato ho no and start prekope owu wie na fe na amanfo ba o da beka se adno kra no se asase ye mfi bibiri na sa de ya making eye common within the Ghanaian society and interna me ye bo hu dewri say seek help fato asoro mpanimfo anim so hu bibi na say enkuye a entwen ma no nkoye kese ansana waba out abeka kire asoro mpanimfo
me that's pa me fa bin ka ho desmond me say doctor kan pastor Chumesi moye de me de ka ho ne say do kan na no Se be nyame anim ne be hira aware no so a nyame sanction ebro nyame sanction akeka anase ehunahuna sisie kire se efete de doctor de ma yi no bibia ni ho ewo twrosemu anase anyamsum mu kire se wonu obitia na fasa kwan no edino nti se ekoba se etia nyame akwankyera esese nipa no twene ho ho ne ya na yeka separation no eso atwene ho ma perpetrator no okopemwa me nima so opani ana sofo a obetena ho se ya buru obi de ababo ne tim waka se for better for worse na ye kan se yare ba akwanhia bi ba ohia bi ba so ho esan bi to no a enya nipa bonesem ba yencha no so ba nipa bonesem ne awudie eba na won se gone advice ana asompanifo ne asorema asofo okra obi buru obi kono okwa ne asesa no niam ama ne asan piano tiko esesa akọ we di obejai the doctor kan Nigeria in story no buy no na asana tete me pa se eya na nkrofo nim o ma mo ya abused ya na abusuafo nim asafo man nim pa se ye bro no da but doctor the me pesa wo boy ne se eya na perpetrators ni very very manipulative bonum betimi adane saa nipa no adwene pa me yire ne maame bi ye adwuma na you evident say maame no or not only physical abuse psychological and social kan nyina no biom it showed say na ne kunu edru payday obeg mem ho no obegina o pack kan ho ana maame no hope say ya no age paycheck no da koma papa eyoya ma baby ameka bia me pesa oboaye no say adwumafo no huni try so mbabo maame na muna dwane afiri ne fie o say no o say me dwane obekume baby amefa bia no nim nia me wo o nim o monitor me into nim everywhere I run to you kill me di maame na anwane ma pano yo sa kusi se akiri maame no gya adwuma no em se papa no hunu se adwumamufo no ye hunu no ena oyi ne firi maame no sa ma obi ote sa no doctor eden ne ya na ekoso woni tirim and you throw wontimi nwane na ya manipulate no no ye hooked to ade a ompe enso tim
in pain no sometimes obia na obi aboa na pen anase ebi ono kwa no no nyu obia ebi nam no hukanus na ebi na kura bedu di wadri inti sometimes no obo no kai papa ebi a ebi nipa no ayama na pen ana obi wo nso a senam dikan kan obi an nkrata asem enkuyi anase ebi a or some hidden secret bia the person no blackmailing no men kan sa say bia na adwuma wo kware bi nyeni din kono de adwuma odo bi nkrata na ye adwuma enti no just Bible exposing into sometimes blackmailing is part of it. Wow, who can use no some blackmailing because of a beer who has him be with him bintino. I'm busy can the ones who are na adwin how most sometimes adwin how and the ma nipa no bi a dance out to banadi.
That's a part, doctor. So be what question and contribution a Brennan Mansaso. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, Pachokoso, I mean who's Zentia Pachokoso.
Yeah, I mean yeah, it can't all kinds of abuse. All the physical abuse there. I know a visible and it pets me. That's emotional abuse, no. Any verbal abuse, no. I am saying no, then showing to nipa yet too concerned about it. And also no, said and also danger himself. uno bitina or abuse emotional and never and no effect also. Say be crowd me come suicide. Other than I know they or more money.
Yeah, Emi said yeah, the all can or the second part of addition and can there's effect on ninginaso. Emotional abuse can lead to depression. A bit me the stress saba. Na sana manema ningina so bobo anwa it ma onya stroke, it ma hypertension. Utumi femu. There are effects and no the next second part of addition. Intino ningina effect whether the physical, the emotional, the financial, the social abuse ningina effects ebusuano so the community mofrano obia nsunsanso bia sad ninya obia so.
Yeah, I'm so doctor on a question is other than no the young can was
yes. They don't take that seriously like the physical.
And I'm saying the physical abuse is too obvious for you to see. Yeah, and we consider that one to be more serious. But emotional, we don't see it. And the only time that we can intervene is you, the victim, coming out, says, Sinamikum. So one ma out and make I say, because this is one ton area on yan red when I can. So one ma out and make the emotional abuse is not visible for us to see. Sometimes na can be there might be any poor benepa say be as see was ebi or ma sorry ebia nam nikunu represent more anase bia first utumi frɛ no en gina phone so bon komoche but say on frɛ ni biom entino then they start to question say oh na any say then ekoso. But apart from that say one ankasa one ma out ameka ebi efie ukofie a ubedi arehosa upie du ni pema na osresre obi abadwen say bia to ze bibia ye fine ema. And internet pimpi na sometimes we don't talk about it yen kind of too much as compared to ubia what chine who can esibrim no ama ebia nani baby apaya na so ama na mark bi no ye fair no serious but there ehun say the emotional abuse no so ehun yi pa.
Yes.
The effects no na one serious. It can lead to serious medical and as a health consequences a bit me do nya but and I'm meeting I can say if you don't come out to seek help it will be very hard for anybody to come so about support to abebo.
Okay, msem abasro ohini ni makon wi ana anti abna.
Yeah, pastor medase kakra na mede kan ye Dr. Kai emotional abuse no and no subjective. And no one can measure it. Just a one who the level that emotional abuse no affect you. Now, say the doctor can say, "Why am I out? So am I meka na one pe ano yibra ehihia hu kakra ebidiunya." And the essence yes subjective matter and wo komu no an na say wo express we issue no ma obi ehunu say wo hia moa. No boa other than that no enya de a obi be hunu no watimi aboa me da say
Also said o si kan asem no so no obi tifie na bia da bia obi ona ne tie jimfo wo ka say de na betima yo wo onim bibia no ho ye besi wiye nkwase abaifo wo ye busuafo pa being contempt. Any emotional abuse bodapa. Enti obeyo no sa se bibi pa bia no ha betima yo. Me wo hai no. Ensi wo ye da. Na me se wo nkoso me ma wo nkoso da. So no no oka ne hye. Na oya otutu ne din na no wo say o mo na bia won sa ho. Dem masem bi obeka bia no. Ebrewu mu die ase. E ma feel say you are less of a human as a won send nipam. And on the ma be a bit namwa that could be who are father cry because your man feel say or you're undeserving on nipa or you're second class citizen. Not Guinea children say me cry me home here me hunim faso me bibia no ha me ya de pa ada na say me tiwiase na me waste my time. In the side doctor can any more dangerous because any background team or bar so it was all them or say you might hear me fear powers oh jai or got them at the end near pianati conversion or can't yemfi mammy be the be bamel now oh ya no na ya sorry back bruni nene na mammy no say I am emotionally dying nje kire na asorofo no nya na to report ma me na me ha se ne sofo no di hu koma sofo here so kum no ha na broni pa okunu no oja sa asore no kwa another church any conference yi no nje trans ye no mo no be di nkomo sofo no se o me de me oba mi hu se bo am no onyo ne netie nso what we say asem we no na say akoso ama wo mo bagel we hu the way papa no or tutuni mamini ding or jojo no kikan some channel or yen yama ahudo bia chesa mamino emotional abuse no papa no 2 year na a few months later and akoda committee suicide no mo ko hunu ni Facebook say e ni akoda ko hunu Facebook awat nyama awotro say we don't value the world does not need us, me and my mom. We have heard over the years that there's nothing we can contribute to society. So why do I have to live? What do I have to live? It is very sad and a very, very troubling. Media mean become the why?
I mean, before sister, I'm fact, we encounter in Pempi. I am not yen so within the Ghanaians, no. Yeah, my mum from Takas or Kawarebisa. Sometimes, it be a foot to be a dema or warrior now. When tea, the Ebu Alcona for the Kubuka or Simua. After the one how our son Abeka was the Abecano, Begas and has yet to went to one or to San forward yes. It sometimes, in Melbourne, it's 2 more for we have to encourage them. So, be that's all can. As I say, it na. Yeah, we have to assess before we get ourselves, I could say our in Yafi na wakwana uncle yino. Now, if you're trouble, I feel how Obeka was not at home, sa and also better coffee in same baby. Abba, this is my patrocoso.
Doctor, what's more yesterday? Because also in your culture, your mama walk away almost said that anyone tenacity and our home como. Maybe I'm an elder be you debating me say as my engagement I say I am a before me tea and I'm a coma collecting say oh Emma accommodate I can't even say Emma accommodemo and do kunu. As all kwako nobody sit down. Oh my men no one and talk to you about sex. Everybody keep talking about emotional abuse. No, emotional abuse is so serious than physical abuse. And I will catch all my say, and I will catch your abuse and he say, "Oh, I'm emotionally being abused in my relationship." Yabo, Debbie, and the empire piebo. Also, you're expressing the catch on say piebo. At what point na piebo turn into depression? At what point does piebo turns me to suicidal? At what point do I actually commit suicide? In our Ghanaian culture, we don't take emotional abuse serious. And it's very, very, very serious. It's more serious than physical because unim je wo be adwene and na wo ye sano at the end no na na den ekun wu a ya said you attempt say na atena ho ba ko kan ye no ye se emfanye mpaibo. I think so education ye nyina e betena bro church Emotional abuse is going on a lot. A lot of people are suffering emotional abuse. Yeah, obin can't because you could catch chance piper because maybe yeah man for black eye but and I say maybe yeah booming some, but it's there and it's real and it's a struggle. It's causing depression. It's causing suicidal thoughts. It's affecting our kids. And then they say oh, tana home because equality. It's so sad because we are affecting the kids more by staying. And we will find a way to help the kids. That's why there's counseling. We will manage. We need to understand the importance of emotional abuse. That is really hurting us and is destroying us. God will do it, but at the same time, no. At what point? At what risk? And that's it.
Yeah, so that's it. I think that you made a very good point. Now, the when it comes to behavioral health aspect and anything surrounding mental health within the Ghanaian community, no, and yeah, dear said about they will be brave. And diabetes, hypertension, those kind of near man mental health issues is not frequently discussed. And I talked about Ghana fool. If we say sa ferry and idea are touchy, so the moment you bring up any topic surrounding mental health, you say a dambo argument. Na ayana we kind of attach that stigma and sa ferry to say into many of the occasions that is why ayana abanasa but yenya kunya bi could be there's so many resources we can use or we can benefit from. Say we should take advantage of the system now. Woman.
But Miss Medea assembly set your doc here does for some more men in share that's my question a common muminu. I'm said doc now say say you seek help as open for her as so for her. Issues we know any reportable. And so your Ghanaian church in a community, me who say Obia Bebobia Mane and I say Bibi da Krumpo and my report to obi situation is so bad. And you know, are we in a way helping the perpetrators? No, and I say Omanya who say, oh, now I call Ghana so from the quite new baby.
Yeah, that's it. Me okay.
Maybe I make it. Elder, would you know your as opening na me warning crofo be one say ya na sofo no your first line of action is redemptive. It is a obi be cancel bisa while you are working with the couple no be cry you don't share with obia. It is a say ya give from so to my yesu onko bodauro onko free board meeting. Sebi ebia ministry mu nyina no ebia aba manim bia no me manipa no first warning say metesa wo yire ana ukunu be catch them say wasina ni so a ana wo abuse no emotionally me fra police for me acho my manipa be say ben sia warning in my ministry pa say wo ya me acho me catch ro mim lose me licenses wo ho na se wo esimanim bio me frɛ me kyerɛ ba bia ɛsɛ sɛ na toda bia okay elder me can say dem hu yan sɛ so oye adult toda bia from so mo no amfrɛ so no enti media I can only speak for myself now. Elder we are right yen hwɛ asɛm me ka sɛ me ka ne ketuali asɛm bi si mumu bi omo ade esum nim obi baburu obi bobo obi ewo asode enna me call court ti me call court ho se me kwa akɔhwɛ sɛ kwan befa so na yatimi ayi asɛm na me kɔgye anim guase ba me call ye no na probate court ha ya na Uganda ni baby. And I say, well, you're department head. To me call your nan was say, who are you? Now Miss Boampong. I say, what do you do? Now Miss me software. I say, yes, you church community people. They beat them and you come and remove the case home. So you are going to settle and you push the women back into the relationship again and they abuse them. You are the guys who are contributing to all this foolishness. Oh, mommy, wouldn't me? Now, just like can be Jim Jones, ma'am, you don't know me. The facts is say yes, be yes, I'm not coffee no interest. Ye ko kama ye pian ba na ti kwa kushim, but ye no oka no. Eh no correct. One who say obi di asem ba so dem say ya buru me. Ehwa na maami asmo ken na mewura ho. Mo se bom yemfa nyem paibo. Ye di matem se yemfa nyem paibo. Na ya sel tunofo a o wan kwa enye ye ni ade ni pianity asan hyem bio ni asino sa me the elder me ne mo ya adwuma nyina na bia mama ne but e bi ba manimu a me mema o warning na ni nyina chiri so I follow them me busa ma no ne mema na ye buru o mo so wabo obi o na bi o so no de ahye no ho pastor nsi yo so ne obi bro no man na jaw chai emma e mo frɛ ne ma frɛ police for by o se me free stairs so ma hwe na abodu achia sa no be da wo so for Africa police for me abechi enti niema na ye mienu doctor me masa me ya want to trust but me de na me yo
yeah so for that's it yeah adwuma na yeah nkrete bia ma hansan ye frɛ yeah mandatory reporters me se me hu de ye se me frɛ na wa ma
sir
but then sanya pasa mo di kan you be free police you be tie wa no asem na aka sensi a asem na si hɔ a it's not going to go further into no de bia no media the only message that I have is you the victim no one now you have to take them asem no one na say o ko seek for help so aka try so rempen for no monti a within the crony team no there is so many helplines you can call to get a moi. Say asorne moi use the social services that we have in place. If we say sometimes if you solely depend on the church, one ya and be a send back druno and now abia in soon see the baba also no. It will be very difficult for you to come out of it. There are so many social services providers around that you can, but the home is there or you switch resem or they are going to go strictly by emra a. And sometimes we have to do that to make the abusers stop. If we say sometimes if they see say oh no credit be obokra no asan krokro asem nem kusi hwe ya onyai, but the moment they realize that now you are serious afraid they are sending bibia kodru no wan hwe ya bi kro no kro ba kodem a now they begin to think twice and begin to change into no a futuo and ye dey nyina say we have to seek help and as ye nimu bia okosa ati bia nimu a ye ntunofo say on seek that help no and as say one so okosa ati bia nimu a fa ani wo ne fere to nchen fa ani ne fere eto nchen you have to seek help so that be ya ye betumi aso ano na dachi mi no ankoye asem kase bi emi say yes sister ba ko kan nya afi ne wawu no ya begina wa bekan kan tribute abetinisuo. Meanwhile there could be like ways to prevent that situation from getting to that extent.
Hey, I'm sir also from my Lois. Men kan doctor wouldn't say me they are making and crofobia who say just one mom want to be kind. So for we don't grow up for police for me actually. Afe na asoro na mu no bi kan na ye ba asoro ya na ya so for no wo frefre wo be report to ye ndia se me enyo nti abana sa a very interesting dynamic panel so for my member so
Pastor, yeah, that's a doctor say that's it. You move a brain so ya connivance and condoners. Ya buru ya ofia ya nini pakro pia ni esresre. Obi a wabobo onu pie na wo kosiri ajeze wo kova no afi no obebo bro no die mu odin pa Oni ni kunu chimansu ofie wo mudura asori anu for the sake of a ni pretending. I wona ne kwasre me brave me catch the so for ya ware ya nam se papa me ma kuma nyina na e ware ho. Wo bo me ba ko pa sori dem me kwa akosu. Me mu obi ehun se ne wote. Ohun ya krokro eniema ma na krokro me ma na krokro ma na ye dia ya na yete ho. Afi de me sa kan bi mba ko aba betomu aye no a form of abuse. Any ye mu bebra ya kofa your partners from Ghana aba. Be ma kofa na ire efi Ghana aba. Into feel say eni kwan so o kasa o ka bi. Oba kofa ni kunu free Ghana aba. Ti sa de no de wa ya na bru so much so that be ma no ni kwan so o kasa. And ye what third party so mo ti e kira. Says e bia ni pakro na bro ne so no so free fie wa yes we ungrateful. Wakofa nti wo yire wo Ghana wo kunu wo Ghana wo kofa na wo pese wan na kofa na mra. Wa wakofa na bo and you think say e too much say wakofa na benti dia wo pe bia wo de beye no. Wo ti asem obi kan kire na yire wakofa na free Ghana aba. Ni kunu wakofa na free Ghana aba ti say dia bia wa kofa na anka ni pakro nye ni pa bi. And all these things say abuse na ni pakro sofa. Ebi no kra ba mo ho ofa nyina akọ. Because all my or ban who say aduani wura wenu ma wose and na dem akofna ban with ending go ni di asem na ehu pa o and we wo kobozo say no ntie bia ni pakro no wo mpese one ne betena bia mu na ya third party society wo hwe ne wo kire ni kuna bo ne ho ka de na ba na yira bo ne ho ka de na ba and na wa betena ne konso emianom yesu anu na yesu asre nyame so o ma ya hoden because then ya minua baby kan ye no ya bobo dia obi ehu but form of abuse e kun krofo any bibi sa no wa ma wuti fie kra wani nka and obi feel say what ya enye hwe ya wasa wuti na ho because onyambo ti ye ko a wondom ye na ye ya sa na ye ma na ye ti sa na nyina o ma ye nyai na ye nyina ye nya asomdwe wo fie medase
my edase pa I think say me ya de hwema queen so ayi obi ye ayi odi ne nyonku bi onim no asem ye mfato ho na be man ya kofa no free Ghana aba na odi police ehunahuna no se krum do ya me fe na na ya befa akọ da fi de na se ehu ahye no enti so free adwuma ba so ote na duan na da kwahye dem no wadi owia na obahu ne chance mu akoda ye de police ana na wan ehunahuna na che se e wakora ondumi mu bi ofie ho emi say me share the chance me can say abuse ni pempi. The moment we hear about domestic violence, there are many instances that the men are also going through similar abuse. And some, especially one way or the other, be a man who to me kakra because of a kind of support them. Sometimes people tend to use that as a weapon against or more economy.
Stephen, we are na Mrs. Abankwa.
Pastor Medase, I doctor, I'm sure of I think say this year is here and a wood, but no question be. And say Babu, I cry as Christians, you know, or try and say, our rejay and nephum sat to say, at what point na say obi go through this kind of abuse obetimi atwe no ho na otwe no ho does it mean say because Baba can say more war bi and na say atisa dwama mon kwanti no ontimi war bi mu na these are some of the emotional abuse I can has maybe mu ko no obi wo ho no ma onjai wo na waka say wo kwa akoware and na say onkofa obi na when na kwan say wo so kwa akoware obetete wo say wo yezie ni wo so ye Kristo ni Bible ma ho kwan say warranty no I say ono a onjai wo ono so a onye na say as a husband or as a wife at this point no nipa no ontena musa na onye honhon na onwu ana say then ye betumi aye So for what's with the I think say be able to me boy on sa
how goes in growth ebu sapa na manige ho se wo ka se wo se Bible makwan se biso wu ana adwamambo enti so for so ntimi makwan yo but the so for betimi aka ne se Bible kro no so nkyerɛkyerɛ se yen emotionally yen destroy the humanness of obi a ne tia ye do no Bible no makwan sa Bible nkyerɛkyerɛ sa ndi se Bible makwan se biso wu ana adwamambo na Bible so nkyerɛkyerɛ se ono obi tia bunanim tia bu hu se wo chen no fa kasatia ne kasatwie ne yɛkyerɛ ne suban bi said the mass of my American a huge say titru obi akofo obi aba na obi apa adwuma ma no obae said the working bi kra ye situation ne so such say oba no otiga na se bi ebru se bi anyado ana ba ma no no tonchine okumase ka gitia wonka ka kra da into bi kra school say wa nwie nti yakin ka kra na eden ma no watimi akoye ebia driver's license theory no mpunu akoye routers nti na wakopa obi ama na ye driver's license ama no nti oba se bi ebu se bi anyado no tonchine awo kumase ka gitia na ni kura kofa na ba na wapo obi krata e dia ye driver ama obi akoye driver's license ama no na watoka ama no na o dinatem na odi sino sa osro se so jano a wan hwe ya ne driving abono nti no otim sa nti but the woman say afuto edi man say e ba no sa e se ni pantimi twe no hwe ye so ye tena nyame ase no ye nyanti ase bi o tworo se won say even sa Bible verse say so bi uni ayoboni akone nchen so we apply very careful pa se wo bi de ababo obi tirima na o ka chenso onko ne nchen you are saying so onko no wonku no that is not a type of abuse especially your man say obema no hodne na ana obabi an hodne na obetimi na bi akoda bi there's imbalance of power na o bruno o yene niam bi sa na o say ko nua nchen are you saying so onko na onfa de kro no sinu na fe onwie no prekwana in the same context now Bible does not allow any form of abuse the Bible say dear ye recommend say atwen ho firi ho na msa question say man kan obeka say on twen ho firi ho kosi daben to be quite honestly with you and I mean to intend the so kan time a onya awade e ko ba na say then e oni ni nyankopon tem wa hu say judgment wo hoi no memfanka ho say so obiti situation musa na enije wo nyame de mani pa bi ni ho na ya hye no nhyesoa bi kura na okru no netie otono mo na ada oyeda ko ka asem we kura se mekun o force na fame ni wu nti wote ho sa na se nipa no otwe ne ho a it's a choice that the person has to make between him or herself with God. A banasa edene, I know say ye nipa no ne yetinchen ne ebuate. Oh, a Christian wajaware and a Christian wo yese. Me gidi say the standards with which God will judge people. Obi yemu bi enu ha wonim. Nti bia Stephen, man kan pay say otena ho 7 years a onya aware. However, no me can so say and so obi tena any form of abuse.
I just like you.
Yeah, me kakra kan the as san ya hwe ye won chen no see ti obi asama we have to be very mindful because sometimes certain comments that we make no and okra mani pa no call emotional abuse no esan akosa asem no kra e bia ni pe asem yi waba out abeka a kire wo obesan akote a different form of the story in the details say ibo kono nkote no SDF obekwa na bi African market na yegina ho discuss na yebeka no poto yebesan manipa na emotional abuse no kra san ekese it sometimes we as the supporting system na anka say yehu so obi ko tibia bi mu a yɛbakɔ support no yɛkora na ɛsan akɔ saa asɛm and now certain comments bi a yɛgyina nkyɛn making into no bi yɛn so no ɛyɛ adesua ama yɛn sɛ sɛ yɛte obi asɛm a we have to be very mindful when we are kind of commenting.
Ɔhene Bobie.
Yeah, Pastor, me da say near asɛm a sompani bisa ya wo kan no na me so me kaka kraka wo say o kan Proverbs 21:19 Bible krona wo ka se me nya awade no ono a na saka wo Proverbs say eye se wo betena sere so sense wo ne ba to kwapefo na be ma to kwapefo betena eno nti Bible no a wo ka se me nya awade no they know say situations be abuses be ebetini abama ahotie just wo home betia wuntimi ntena se ntena ne wudwane ko hye baabi ya ɛhɔ yɛ ɛsrɛ so anaasɛ baabi ɛhɔ dwo a wonte saa ha no bi wa ɛbɛboa wo nipadua no danse wo betena ho no mawuo enti me hu ne sɛ durumre bi a sɛ ne Dr. Sade kan ho sisi a sɛ yɛne a yɛ won chen no ne yɛ kasa no durumre bi a wo sɛ yɛ very careful because wonnim ne obi komu enu nti sɛ wo pɛ sɛ o sorry free ho na ne ho tɔ no a ayɛ a yɛnya ho asɛm ka na da se pa.
And then come on, I had Dr. Minim so to become reflect on your kind.
Oh, there be say em say Brenna yaso.
Oh, come 6 minutes. Your time.
Em say nyame ya adoma there's second session on this. Nyame adoma say next week nyame do do me. You beat me but I'm pretty sure say
well mama chance to get what
yeah, okay, because of
me dear no dear me dey kan ho no ebi asin che kra wa Atlanta. Mami bi a ono ne kunu kofa no bae. Ti se de na doctor wokan ya. Obae no oba bi ofie ho no a woni ne ye kamanti. Ono aduane si ho no so de aduane asi ho. No akodi oba no de ne wagya ne de. O de sa. Niema bi a yakoso fie ne ma no nti ontimi nka. Wafa ho awu. Ba koso London on so sa ne man se ne mense ba me fa nko Canada. Omode ne ba onya adwin mu ha nti ofiri eda asoro. No oti behwe wate ahwe atete. Ono so firi asokore se ba fijase fa. Nti ya de eda ho a etasi. Na ye menti ne ya na dodo na yesa. Nti sese no ye betena ye mai ho ani ye dika gwaja wo mana. Nti de pastor wo kan sisi ya no nti na me peja me sa de me sa to ho. Enu na eku ye fere si obi beti se nti misa bankwampa na nti wo ye ne yiri sei. Ene me nkokana ya ba be kase. Mrs. Abankwasi sei. Enu na eku no. Acho manuasi.
that's pa I'm say abana san basubium pacho kasa.
Sorry, auntie the kind of I think that the all kind of the correct. We put so much pressure. Yeah, my pressure where you're so you have to be a wife, you have to be a mother, you have to be a daughter, you have to be a sister, you have to be this, you have to be that. And I think that's what is also killing us. We have to learn to love ourselves. And I think if you learn to love yourself, you know how to place everybody in every situation. And that is what is also killing us. And a pressure, and they said we have to please our husband. We have to be a good mother to our kids in society. Oka solia competition and obiane nukunu obiane neyi obana as a single mother. I said, what you don't fit in. But the Bible said, for God so loved the world. Nyame odoyen. Everybody, single mother, families. So we as a church, we as individual, we as community, we need to learn to embrace. We need to learn to love each other. We need to learn to be there for each other. Say meba or as Madame for say, ekuya, and asuma me kunu kache me pano. Say na me filia. You have to be able to embrace me. But enko can't the next person say, Abuna sema ni kunu be kachire me penny. And also a problem because we don't trust each other to even tell our friends and say, this is what's going on. And then also we're compiling all of it in our head. We are saying now, there's so much stress. So we don't need to live in your home that is also stressful. We have to be able to love each other and live freely and let God help us, because it's really sad what is going on. It's really, and there's a lot of young people that are walking away from their marriages, and our parents are not understanding why, because they don't want to take the stress and they don't want to take the pressure, and they're going to walk away. And that's it.
Doctor, so am I concluding?
Yeah. Let me say, that M1 na eba so topic way anytime I present, there's so many concerns and idea we shouldn't stop right here. We have to keep on talking about that. Things that you hear constant repetition, education. So the be a bit sticky na. One thing that me be count say in PMP, the African culture. Sometimes once we bring it into your marriages now, and also sometimes there's certain aspect of your culture now we have to like I say we have to move away from it. Kakra. That kind of male dominance, those kind of mentality. And most African men, most of the time, have that kind of adrenaline. He is the man. No contribution. But yabe pie kromua obaya adwuma be ma ye adwuma we abre. So it is a collective effort, and we all have to participate or have some duties and also responsibilities that we play we feel we so yira kwa adwuma ba wabanu aduane asio was one say wo intina no so ho sotro ye besre say there are certain things be one more men in particular we have to kind of change kakra. If we stick to the African mentality and the culture many of the times a man a wom kruman sometimes na omasembu we mfakwem wo de saa de no ekokoko so a obefre police amaw emrofo no de enintina wareja ye bibiri be no mpenhye so enintina wareja ye bibiri ewo emrofo no they don't like those kind of na yabetna hay. We have to also try as much as we can say we shouldn't leave the responsibility with you on sometimes and also it mean confusion is if you
Doctor, that's a let me say me Danyamia say like I said next week Radi Adma ebe twaso yeah why the issue no me pesa me de so say saa adesua yesua no wo mu se yesua bi ne nkraba tabebre no ade esese ye nyina ye bo ho dawru me question me busa won ne say what are you going to do with it yesua ne no what are you going to do with it? Pray about it, talk about it. Let's create awareness. Say to your society very insidious na your structures no contribute to domestic violence. No? The idea of headship from Zonim in society, no? Your headship in all levels of life. Because our mommy and son, penny way ahead. Now, in the biblical context of headship, no, it is service. Yes, you know what you're for. Not on your head. But there's nowhere you say now or abuse on. In fact, on the contrary, no, was someone he rolled up his sleeves to serve, to make them look better, provided for them. Indeed, I'm saying we have contorted a definition of headship. And on a man, be a yani abuse for the running kind na usai doctor ebiu edwase pa se wa ma ho kwan na nne nyame na mosto ene yan abedi nkomo wa de yesu bia no ka kire obi fra obi na ene ne hu nkomo said ye wunim no ye record call YouTube directly fana ne obi nche bio said ameka no minim se YouTube ne no monetization yes ka sema nti na mesi ne obi nka no I really know we want to disseminate the information. Say obi benya na wati bi ebeboa no hu say biribi pa bi wo ho a onyame asem ebetimi aboa ntina ye de program we ni ye de gina nyame asem so no. If we said we can do presentation purely secular, but say nyame so fa so kire kwan nti doctor nyame hira na on kan ho ebebo mpa ye manusia na de no so akwawie ehua edo wase wodo ye pao nti brebia wa no tua ya som na wo ka ya adwene woni ye edi nkomo enne dwumadi yesu ba bibia yaka bia enye wasem no so so ndi ma yure mfiri na ne beboa na firi nyame nchen na ye wakwan kire no mentra yemu ma en norese subra bi swelling just woroso na ka yen na ekenya yen akwa so de adesua bre me so se hira na wai mana nimdia ebroso ebrebia oba de yesu a ono so atimi ne yen ache yen atiefo ayetie ye so se ma yen tasetase no se madwema na yen fa mo yen bra yen fa nhyen kran yen fa nya futu mo aboya oba so gi enti o oba se ye Kristo enti kan ye ho yen fa nsemi nya adwuma e wo Jesus Christ din mo amen me binuanom ame enka ye ho ya nadoma next week ibehia mu bio